Hello. Hey everybody. Romy the homie here. I'm here today to show everyone how to get their Neptune 4 Pros connected to Bigtreetech ADXL345 version 2.0 accelerometers. So they're the ones that have this USB-C connection. I ordered a couple myself for some Neptune 4 Pros that I got, I want to say, a couple weeks ago now. And I realized that they do not have accelerometers um, like the Elegoo Neptune 4 Max does. The Max and the Plus come with Wi-Fi and accelerometers pre-installed, whereas our Neptune 4 and Neptune 4 Pro does not. Um, so yes, in my research, and just to also clear up some other things, the Neptune 4 does not have metal rails on the X and Y axis. The Neptune 4 Pro does have metal rails on the X and Y. So just a little uh, heads up for you guys looking at buying any of these printers. I really do like the metal rails on the Pro. Don't love that they don't have those small extra features that the Max and the Plus do. But there are fixes for that. Now I've got all the parts. So this is the Bigtreetech ADXL345 version 2.0 accelerometer I just showed you. But to add Wi-Fi to your machines, there's a couple ways to do it. You could get a Wi-Fi extender that has a Ethernet port on the back, and you can just plug that up right next to your printers and connect it to your home network, and then go ahead and directly Ethernet in from that Wi-Fi extender. You could move your router behind your 3D printers, and you could connect with an Ethernet that way, or or you could go with one of these little USB powered guys like me. That's what I got. I just grabbed a couple of USB power blocks, USB A to USB C, and I plugged those up to the power strip behind my 3D printers, and just connected them straight onto the accelerometer. And I can show you that really quick. So yeah, here we are. This is my Neptune 4 Pro, well, my first one. And this is a little shell I 3D printed for it. I'll send the link to you guys, because there's actually some holes modeled into this shell specifically to install an accelerometer. So that this is the accelerometer right here, and it, once again, that's this Bigtreetech. I'll link it in the description below. So my issue really here was that I could not find how to get this running and installed quickly with like just a straightforward YouTube video that was focused on the Neptune 4 Pro. That's not de-Elegooized, as some people say. So, I ordered a couple of these, got them in. I plugged them into the front of my machine. Now, you specifically want to use your USB-A to USB-C on 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 your accelerometer. Excuse me, sorry, mine's blanking. So once you do that, you kind of need to go into your fluid settings here, or just IP into your printer, which would open fluid. I don't know if you guys know how to do that. If you don't, you need to get this Wi-Fi adapter, or you need to push your router behind your 3D printer so that your printer has an IP address. You need to go to your About Machine settings, and it'll display an IP. You go put that in your browser bar, and you should get into Fluid here. So once we're in Fluid, there's a lot of different things to look at. If you've never been in Fluid before, I highly suggest going into a dedicated Fluid tutorial, because there's a lot of different things you can do with this. I'm not focused on specifically Fluid. We're just trying to get our accelerometers running. And I do want to give a shout out before I truly get started here to the people that kind of led me to the information I needed. So XBST running this GitHub over here, the KUSBA GitHub, he had some really good answers to Darkstar Dev. Darkstar Dev was kind of giving some feedback as far as what he was experiencing with his install, and I actually realized that he made a separate config file so that he could easily # or comment out the accelerometer, because you don't want to calibrate your accelerometer every day or every other print. You really only want to calibrate your accelerometer when you move your printer to like a new printing surface, or you do some like loosening and tightening of hardware and you're working on some things in that manner. If your printer's just hanging out on the same surface and you're just printing and printing and printing, there's no need to calibrate your input shaper that frequently. So yeah, with that being said, thanks to XBST and Darkstar Dev. Really appreciate you guys putting your information out there. I hope you guys get your credit where credit's due. I'll also link this page where I found this information to the bottom of this. Now, with that being said, the first thing I did is I followed Darkstar Dev and XBST and what they did with their config. So we're going to go into Fluid. We're going to jump over to Configuration on the left side here in the menu, and you'll see just all these files here. You don't got to worry about all this stuff. We're only going to be messing with a couple of them. So if you go to the plus button, you can do Add File. Now here is where you will type in ADXL345. What did I put exactly? MCU.CFG. MCU.CFG. And then you will hit save. I'm not going to, because I've already typed it and it's already here. Like once you hit save, it shows up as something here. So you should see what you just typed show up as a file. So we'll click on that, and mine has this info already put in. I did not make up this little configuration myself. It's straight from Bigtreetech. It just took a little bit of digging to find. So there's this GitHub for Bigtreetech ADXL345. Then I was looking for firmware because it said update Clipper config here. So I was kind of like, that's surely what I'm looking for. So I clicked on it, and it brought up this page. Yeah, it was exactly what I was looking for. There was all these codes here to basically set up your ADXL345. And so I copied all that, and then I jumped back in to my ADXLMCU config. I highlighted everything. Well, I think there was only one line because I didn't have anything. So you just click on the first line, and then you either Control V or you paste. I don't know if you can paste this way. Yeah, just Control V. And it'll, or if you're on Apple, what is it? Command V? I'm not sure. I don't use Apple that often. But yeah, you'll paste that into your adxlmcu.CFG, and we'll close that. Oh, save it. Save it first. I didn't need to save mine because it's been saved, but hit save and restart. Or no, just save. Do not restart. Hit save. And that's it, because we need to go edit something in the actual printer configuration for this to work properly. So we're going to go into our printer config now, and mine is actually updated already. Didn't think about that one. Let's see. I can show you where to go to and what you need to delete exactly. So if we keep scrolling down here, no, not quite. I think I went too far. There's a very specific section I'm searching for, and I know there's a search feature for this. I've been scrolling to it for a while now, so I kind of feel like I have an idea of where it's at. Yeah, probe, LED control, TMC UART. Here we go. TMC UART config. If you go under here, right under TMC 2209 extruder, there's a whole section right here that basically contains everything that we just added to our ADXL config. So you'll see ADXL345 resonance tester, maybe MCU something something ADXL. You need to delete all of that out of your printer config because it's all specifically copied and pasted into your ADXL.MCU, ADXLMCU.CFG. So I'm actually going to see if I can open that in Notepad. Can I open this with Notepad? I can. Awesome. So we're gonna scroll down. Homing gantry probe TMC UART. Here we are. Yes, right here. So you'll see MCU RPI ADXL 345 resonance tester. We're gonna go ahead and grab all of this. Oh no, not that far. All of this, and you're just gonna delete all that from your printer config that's specifically here. So I know I opened this in Notepad, but this code right here that we're looking at on Notepad is the exact same stuff here. You've just got these extra line numbers on the side. That's all it is. So you just need to go down to, I'd say, probably around line 540 or so, and you'll probably see this MCU RPI, ADXL345, and resonance tester. So just grab those three, delete that, and you'll be done with that step. So our printer config is almost good to go. We've deleted those ADXL lines way down below under our TMC UART section, but way up top here I've made one other change, and you'll see it right here where I've actually put a pound sign in front and commented out this accelerometer now, specifically because I've already tested my X and my Y configuration and recalibrated on my first Neptune. Now, lucky for you guys, I forgot to save config on the Y-axis for my second Neptune 4 Pro, so I'm going to have to rerun that, and I'm going to do it right now in front of you guys. So let's get into that real quick. So just to review, we've already IP'd into our 3D printer by using either a Wi-Fi extender, using one of these little Wi-Fi USB adapters, or bringing your router over and just plugging it in that way with an Ethernet cable. Next, we've installed our accelerometers, and then we've also gone in and we've changed our printer config to include adxl.CFG right under our include plr.cfg. And we've added our adxlmcu.CFG, and that should look like this. If you're using a Elegoo Neptune 4 with a Bigtreetech ADXL345 version 2.0, this should essentially be the same for almost any printer. The only thing you would really change is your probe points, because those are specifically based on the size of your bed. So in your example under your printer config, this actually shows up 100, 120. So that's just the values that's how I knew to take those values and replace them, because I do believe they have theirs. Oh, they do have theirs set to 100, 120. All right, well, that's good. If you have a larger printer, just know that you do need to change the probe points specifically. You don't want to do 100, 120 if you're doing like a Neptune 4 Max or an Anycubic. What is it? What's the Anycubic Max that hasn't just come out but is competing with the Neptune 4 Max? Can't think of it off the top of my head, but let's update ourselves real quick. Anycubic Max, Cobra Max, Cobra Max 2, I believe, is Cobra 2 Max, excuse me. But yeah, that's our competitor in this Elegoo race here. Anywho, if you're using a printer of that size, just know you need to change these probe points, and there is a place to find that information. I do not know it off the top of my head, and I will, if I find any links to that specifically, I'm gonna be putting links to everything I'm showing you guys under the video here. So we've already updated our printer config and our adxlmcu.config. So let's go back home to our printer home here in Fluid. We need to make sure that we're actually connected. So there is a script. Where is it? Where's the command? I can't find the command right now. But there's input shaper auto calibration. So there's a few commands we can run in here specifically to calibrate. And before we start calibrating, you do need to turn off your 3D printer and turn it back on. You need to turn it down all the way, turn it off all the way, not just hit restart clipper and restart firmware on Fluid. You need to turn off your printer physically, let it shut all the way down, and turn it back on. It should turn on just fine while being plugged in to your accelerometer at this point. You should be able to, once you power back on, have your accelerometer already plugged in USB-C to USB-A in the front of the Elegoo. If you have issues for any reason, just go through your config and double check that you haven't accidentally added anything. Fluid will point you in the right direction, so don't lose hope if things don't work out the first try. Alright, so I'm going to show you, so we got to calibrate our y-axis. So we've turned our printer off, we've turned it back on, the accelerometer is now plugged in. And if we're testing, let me jump back over to my webcam printer here. If we're testing our x-axis, this is specifically for bed slingers, our accelerometer is going to go on the top of our print head. It could go on the side of the print head. It just basically needs to be mounted to something on the x-axis as far as the hot end goes, because that's where you're trying to detect vibrations for. Now, when we want to test y-axis, or calibrate the y-axis, excuse me, we have to move our accelerometer from the top here to the actual bed, because they're bed slingers, and the y is where the vibration is happening. So your X gantry is not going to have any vibration for your Y input shaper. So, as you can see here, I read some advice from some other guys, and basically, they just said throw a piece of paper over, maybe fold it over a couple times to make the piece of paper a little thicker, and then just literally fold your accelerometer inside that, and then paper clip your accelerometer to the edge of your bed. And then once you have your accelerometer there, you just run your Y calibration. So I'm going to go ahead and set the webcam down now, and we're going to jump into our console here on Fluid. So I've already run Shaper Calibrate Axis Y, and you don't have to do Y or X in any order. You can do your Y first, and then you can screw down your accelerometer to the top and do your X. That way you're not installing on your X and then immediately removing right after to do the Y. So just something to save you a couple seconds. But once you test your X and your Y by running this specific thing, I'll go ahead and hit enter on this. Shaper underscore calibrate space axis equals Y, and then the way to do X is literally just take away the Y and put the X in, and that is how you do the X and Y calibrations. But I'll hit enter. Wait, did I shaper calibrate? Oh, you know what? Did I turn off? I gotta check my config really quick. ADX, nope. ADXL, that's good. Printer config. Yes, I did comment out my ADXL config, so that is why that command wasn't working. If you have issues with that command, you may check that you don't have a pound sign in front of your ADXL mcu.config, include ADXL mcu.config. So as you can see, that just highlighted or lit up orange before I had this right here, and it kind of grays out, so it wasn't actually detecting that. So let's go ahead and hit save and restart real quick. Restart Clipper. Your printer should connect without issue. If it doesn't for any reason, then you need to go double check. But sorry about that little hiccup. At least that was a nice example of if things don't go right. So we'll go ahead and send this. And now my bed is shaking. Now this is going through fluid, this webcam, so it's not going to be like super high frames. But my bed, here, I'm going to try to stabilize here, is shaking right now. I highly doubt maybe you can hear it, but I think my computer might filter out that noise. So if you hear it, nice. You can actually see on your dashboard as well testing frequencies, and it's going to go up and up to, like, I want to say 130 is where mine stops. And yeah, then it's going to give you an option to save that configuration. So we're just going to sit here for a couple seconds and wait for that to finish. Let's see. So where I got those commands from is the clipper3d.org, specifically measuring resonances. There's a whole little section on the table of contents here. So I went measuring resonances, and then I went to ADXL345, and then you can go to input shaper auto calibration, and you'll see a lot of these commands here where you can just copy them and paste them into your console if you want to go about it that way. I'm going to try to link all of this into the description below the video. I'm not on YouTube, obviously, a ton, so I don't know what my limit is there, but I will get as much information to you guys as I can to copy and paste and make this as simple and painless as possible. So we're getting there. 123, 24, 25. Just a couple more seconds here, and it's going to give us the option to save that configuration. All right, so we enabled input shaper. 133 is actually where we stopped. I was 3 hertz off of the ending frequency there. But it's going to do some calculations here. Gonna do the hard work for us. You could manually do this, and you may be able to do something a little more appropriate for your situation. But this is more so an intro guide for people who are just trying to get accelerometers going on their printers, not diving really deep into the rabbit hole as far as input shaping goes. And I'm not saying I'm a pro at that by any means. I am fairly new to all of this myself. I've been teaching myself all this stuff for multiple years now, but there's just always more to learn, and it's amazing how fast the technology advances these days. The printers I bought and upgraded 2-3 years ago really just pale in comparison to today's printers. We run a K1 Max at the high school, and man, it's just like watching the K1 Max work next to like half of the other printers we run. It's just frustrating to think that it's only been 3 or 4 years that we've had the older model printers, and there's so far obsolete I guess you would say. Like, they just, don't get me wrong, they're not unusable machines, but they're not machines that are convenient, especially not in a school or a makerspace environment. You don't necessarily want to have printers running overnight when they're not being monitored. So yeah, there's just a lot of reasons why I find these newer printers much more appealing, but also find that we need to find a way to upcycle our old printers and old technology in general. I'm actually working on taking old laptops, putting Linux on them, and then running Clipper uh, on the laptop for multiple 3D printers. So you could technically say, well, in my personal case, I'm trying to connect one old Dell laptop with 2 instances of Clipper on it to 2 Anycubic Vipers, and I should technically be able to monitor both of those printers wirelessly because of the laptop already having Wi-Fi built in. But like I said, I'm diving deep into a lot of these rabbit holes right now, trying to teach myself a lot of stuff to really just upgrade our experience at the high school as far as my students and my fellow staff go. So yeah, we're pretty much done more or less. I forgot to scroll down here. I think I got caught up on the console. But after it finishes doing the math for you, it's gonna give you a save config command. You can just click on that, and it'll pop it into your console. Hit send, and that is going to update your input shaper values on your actual printer .cfg under your configuration menu. So your printer.cfg should now be updated with those new input shaper values, and you should be ready to go and test and see if this really did bring more quality to your prints in terms of compensating for the vibration in your X and your Y axis. So I hope this was helpful to all of you guys. If it was, give me a like and a follow. I'll be a little short on content here for a few more months, but once summer comes around and I'm actually free from my job, I'm really going to dive into more of the basics of 3D printing in general, and Clipper, and just the things we can do to upcycle old technology and old 3D printers to make them useful again. Not necessarily that they're not useful, but just make them more convenient to use in today's 3D printing environment, I think is a appropriate description. So thank you guys for sticking around. I know this was a slightly long video, but if you did, I hope it was helpful. If you have any issues or concerns, just let me know in the comments. I do work quite a lot as a teacher, but as soon as I get a chance to get back to you with any feedback or any helpful comments, I will do so as soon as I can. Thanks everybody for watching. This is Romy the Homie, and you guys all stay safe.